Let's break through the BS of gurus. I'm out here in Massachusetts right now, and there's plumbers going on. Otherwise, I'd be inside, but you'd be hearing clanging and all that stuff. So anyway, for the last few years, there's been a big, huge rise in Facebook gurus and experts, and a lot of folks that have been attached to big brands, and a lot of folks that can sound really smart, but don't actually know what the fuck they're talking about, and a lot of folks who all say the same thing over and over again, repeating the same things that other people have said, citing the same bad advice that has been repeated over and over and over again. So let's get down to it. Why do these people do this thing? Why should you not listen to them? And what should you maybe get into instead? So, with that being said, let's get started. Number one, why do these people say these things? And why do they legitimately, potentially believe it? Number one, it is very easy, if you are not good at your job, to shrink wrap and sell one winning use case. If you do something 50 times and one time you get it right, well, in the world of digital marketing, where everybody may or may not be struggling, what you can do is take that one use case, write it down, maybe falsify some numbers, and then sell it to people. And if you have to sell your one use case to somebody so they can copy and paste your exact steps, they're going to trust you because they're copy and pasting your work. However, what have we seen for years is that it doesn't actually copy and paste the results. Because the reason that people are successful has very little to do with the massive architecture and lucky breaks and guesses that somebody takes inside of their Facebook architecture and their campaigns and accounts. It has far more to do with their business model and far more to do with management, as well as sometimes some dumb luck. So when you see people citing, well, this is what we did with this brand, and here's an entire breakdown, what they're doing is saying, we're not selling you a system and a process for you to repeat because we've repeated it across dozens of accounts, and this is what we learned out of everyone. They're saying, we've failed dozens of times. Here's the one time we didn't. And instead of being able to sell you an entire system, what we're going to do is sell you this one solution. Always be mindful of this. Now, this is also a huge business opportunity for a lot of people because what do people want? They want an easy solution. So they want something that is simple enough for them to wrap their heads around. So sadly, the low integrity play here of showing people, well, this is what I did in the one case that actually worked, is also one of the most highly profitable because you don't have to, number one, offer support. Number two, give context. Three, even legitimately back up the numbers. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a room with folks and I've heard, I don't know, the Tim Birds and Andrew Foxwells of the world and all these folks give off information. Now, I'm not saying everybody's lying. What I am saying is I've absolutely seen people bullshit their numbers. And what I'm not seeing is a system and a process for evergreen solutions. Because let's be honest, the Facebook platform is under the third change that we've seen in the last 10 years. The third. It's not a constantly updating algorithm. It's not something where you're trying to find the next audience or the next strategy or the next hack to make it work. If that's your strategy, if that's what you're relying on, it means that basically you don't know what you're talking about. And this is what a lot of people rely on, because if they can sell you fear and a temporary solution, then they can sell you over and over and over again. Next thing, why do people do this? One of the reasons that people do this is because A, it's really good business. It's an exciting thing. Also, a lot of times people don't know that what they're doing isn't repeatable because they've only been exposed to one situation. And a lot of times people don't understand or have the ability to appreciate the lack of stability or scalability or business impact of what they're doing. If somebody is, for instance, you have your Taylor Hollidays and Nick Shacklefords and Andrew Foxwells and Tim Birds and Cat Howells and Savannah Sanchez's of the world. These folks run businesses, but they don't actually run the businesses that they're promoting. And they have isolated wins in a lot of places, not all of them, but they have isolated wins, and they're able to, share things. But what are they mostly? They're primarily motivated speakers who are 1 inch above everybody else. But they're light years behind the people that are actually doing really good work. And how do they know what to do? Because the people that are doing really good work beat them over the head with it for years until they're able to finally listen to it and create their own isolated use case study and then teach that. But here's the thing, most of them aren't even the ones doing the work. They're managing teams. I got into a Twitter beef with somebody last night and today, and he's like, well, I've spent $1 billion on all these disruptive companies. Like, well, first off, your ad agency with the software as a service was hired by very successful companies that didn't need you. And based on that, you are trying to tell people things that directly oppose what Facebook themselves have to say. The point here is, oftentimes, those that can't do, teach. Oftentimes, it's very good for the face of the company to be out there getting people motivated. But if you're somebody managing teams of teams, it's pretty much almost always a bad idea for you to be so in the weeds to even know how a lot of the things work, especially if things change. Now, look, if you're a family farmer and you're on a tobacco farm and you're running the company, you should absolutely know how the tobacco is raised, because you probably did it as a kid. In the world of e-commerce and digital marketing, these folks that came in during the last purge with the implementation of the Facebook Pixel and conversion campaigns that never had to actually work that hard or appreciate the business objectives of what they were doing, they've been able to be extremely successful by championing up other folks that are basically 1 inch above Facebook blueprint and light years behind what you need to actually manage your $1 million business. There's a reason that they sell you courses with no support. There's a reason that they charge you hundreds of dollars to join Slack groups where you're basically just talking to all the other people in line at the club. Like, oh, I want to get into this club, I'm going to have a good time meeting all these people, and who's in there? All the other people you're standing with next in line all night long. There's a reason that these individuals talk to each other and hold. There's a reason that these people talk to each other and hold each other to great esteem and interview each other all the time, talking about all the same problems. It's because they don't actually have solutions. How many times, I remember earlier this year, Taylor Holiday released a course for $1,000 where he talked to other people that manage teams of teams. Not a single one of those people actually did any of the work. Not a single one of those people actually understood what they were talking about. And not a single one of those people gave advice that was relevant for the last 3 years. And most of those people, in the last week or so, with the thread that I made around the 3 purges of Facebook, and this time being the AEM and iOS 14, and why it's actually a great opportunity, all agreed with me that all the advice that they've been giving was basically obsolete and that it didn't really even matter. Now, we've known this since 2018, but now the idea of preaching fear and then selling a solution isn't a good business model anymore, although they're still publicly selling it. If you get, for instance, the Founder course, Nick Shackelford will recite a script read on screen that directly opposes the stuff that you'll see in other courses. You will hear people talk about things that they will directly oppose in other cases. It's because they're reading scripts. It's because they don't know the work. And if you want to be confident and successful in your business, understand that what you have to do is no longer go to the business owners who are not doing the work, who are not the ones actually figuring things out, but are at best being reactionary to information that they were told by better individuals through the lens of teams that they've managed to solve problems that they themselves created. That is not a solution for you to move forward. That is a solution for you to swim with the school of fish directly into the shark's mouth. You're going to lose if you play that game. More importantly, you probably won't lose. You probably will be in a situation where you are going to figure out a way to win. The issue is, how many more months, how many more years, how many more hundreds or thousands of dollars are you going to nickel and dime on short selling your future? The last thing I want to get to here is, but we've talked a lot of shit. What should we do? I'm going to give you 3 things that you should look for, and also some advice. Number 1, Do not go to somebody that repeats the same advice as somebody else whose advice has already let you down. Don't go to Taylor Holiday because Nick Shackelford's advice sent you the wrong way. Don't buy into Andrew Foxwell because Common Thread Collective's Slack group was basically a waste of money for you. Number 2, do not take advice from people that are not giving you systems and process for repeated results, teaching you how to fish rather than how to copy and paste their work in a way that will not work for you. I have seen courses come and go, and programs come and go, and ebooks and all sorts of stuff. The folks that continually sell new solutions are the ones that are selling you on a process that they've already done and made work once. You don't know if they've lost 99 times, and they're sure as hell not selling you this solution and system and process to do this on your own so that you don't need to buy from them again. If anybody's running that business model, what we call shrink wrapping an isolated solution, which, by the way, is an age-old scam artist methodology. Like the weight loss commercials, somebody lost 100 pounds, so they're all going to sell you the same damn thing. And really, that person just ate better and exercised because they were motivated. Last thing. Do not invest in a solution for your problems to learn from somebody that hasn't solved it repeatedly before, that is not going to have personal contact with you to solve your version of that problem. Because especially in the world of digital marketing, you solving the problem is going to be a different solution, outcome, look, and feel than the person sitting right next to you. They might have the exact same business model. They might have the exact same infrastructure. The point is, there is no copy and paste solution to the problems that we face. However, there are copy and paste systems and processes that you can apply your own insight, intuition, and strengths into to overcome your weaknesses to solve business objectives. My last bit of advice here. Do not look at Facebook as something that you need to manage on a regular basis. Look at Facebook as the thing that allows you to work on your business model, to improve your business. Facebook is a force multiplier of a good business model. You should not be spending more than maybe an hour a day on your you should not be spending more than maybe an hour a day on your account. Sometimes maybe you have to spend 90 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week max. If you're not letting the machine do the work for you, what you are doing is investing time and money in something that is not a sustainable solution, that goes against the way that it was designed to be practiced, and will ultimately be a liability to your success in the long run. If your success as a business is directly dependent on you day trading the shit out of a system designed to run without you, what you're telling me is you don't have something that can run without you. You don't have a factory. You are micromanaging everything. A really good manager doesn't need to be there to micromanage the efforts of every team member. Success means that something can thrive without your direct control. Facebook is designed to function without your direct control. And it has been for years. That's why we have conversion campaigns. When I started, we were spending $1 million a day on traffic campaigns because they were trying to compete with Google. Facebook is designed to function without you. That's why you're supposed to target broad audiences and let your ads do the targeting for you. That's why we have CBO and lowest cost bidding. That's why the best practices that are taught to you all are dependent on you respecting Facebook's business model, which is a positive user experience. If the user doesn't have a positive experience, basically if you are a liability to Facebook's business model, then they're going to charge you more money. And consistently, I see people preaching solutions that reject this fundamental fact. So with all that being said, I do have a solution to this type of thing, and I'm not trying to just do this as a sales pitch, but if you are interested, because you're sick and tired of paying the slew of folks who have already mentioned today. If you are interested in investing in solutions that will teach you the systems and process for scalable business solutions that will ultimately allow you to focus on your business rather than micromanaging a platform designed to run without you, let me know. I am accepting applications for the Facebook Ads MBA program. This is a 9-week live coaching program where I walk you through 9 different courses with one-on-one time and group classes in a community so that you are not alone and you can come back at any time and retake classes and ask questions. This is an interactive live coaching thing to learn from somebody that has worked with Facebook to design how the system works and whose case studies are constantly being taken, misquoted, and sold by a lot of other individuals that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Basically, what I'm getting at is you can continue to spend hundreds of dollars or a couple $1,000s hoping for $1 million solution by learning from people that don't know what they're doing, that don't do the work. Or you can say you're fed up with being taken advantage of and invest in a permanent solution for you, your team, your business, and your dreams. If you want to get